content, he is quite happy with that. So maybe, according to Mr. Paneer Ramalingam, I think the digital platform will also help us during this recovery period. Now I request Mrs. Kaur to put us on a panel, all of us, for a discussion on this topic, how to prepare the students for CBSE grade 10 and 12. We would briefly recollect some of the points shared by. Can we have all of them on the panel, please? Yes, thank you. Yes, all of us are there. So it's a very collaborative effort on our part, to bring in the insights of how we can prepare the students for grade 10 and 12. Yes, Dr. Upendra, Dr. Upasna, sorry, Dr. Upasna Yadav had rightly told about mentoring. That was a very important aspect which I felt matches with the thoughts of Dr. Padmakshi. In fact, this mentoring is a very influential thing. We did that in our schools. We also used to have a home visits. See, especially I have gone to some of their houses, and they are so excited that the principal has come to the home. And there were houses where they offered me biryani also, which of course, I mean, that was a hospitality you get when principal goes to the home. And when we talk to the parents, that bridges the gap. And I think that is one way of reconciliation. And Dr. Padma Upasna has always has brought down this point very clearly. And she talked about gifted students also, that because they are very person who can trigger your thoughts. Even if you have not planned certain things, they will make you plan that part of the strategy. And uh, uh, of course, Mrs. Snehlata Vijay Kumar has given a lot of strategy and insight, but she also touched upon meditation. She touched about exercise. I think all these are becoming an integral part. And how are we to go to bring this into is something that we need to discuss. How are we going to? We have discussed so many things. We have discussed technology. We have discussed narrowing down the learning loss. We have discussed about how to make children's comfort and successful, and above all, we have also discussed about how these children should shed off that addiction of the devices. So, can can anyone come forward to see how all this can be put into a nutshell for us as a capsule, to see how we could take it home and deliver in our schools, and all the participants who are waiting to see, because they have heard so many things, how could we blend, yeah, I mean, technology, what is your opinion about technology coming in? And what is your opinion about the mentoring aspect? And let us discuss that. Can we, somebody initiate that discussion?
Sir, I would like to go for it. Ma'am spoke about sleep. I reinforce sleep on a very regular basis to everybody. What happens is, Paneer sir spoke about technology, and I am somebody who's always for technology because the current generation loves technology. It's like you give them, if the parent or you as a teacher, I tell it to them, they'll not listen. If it comes to some technological sources, it's like tirtham for them. They'll definitely take it. So it is like, oh, it was told in that video, or this one, or some app told me this and all. So that is the effect of technology in the children. Yes, please utilize the maximum technological support you can, but don't discount the quality of sleep, which is very, very important. I want to tell this to all the children, which is very important. You ask them to sleep, they'll switch off the lights, they will put their blankets on their face and keep the phone inside, and I don't know what they'll watch. See, that is not that is not technology. Technology is something which is going to help you in your development, but what happens is they don't sleep on time. When an individual, not only children, any individual who does not sleep on time, their their memory and concentration has a problem.
Lakshmi, just to intervene, what is your opinion? Since you're talking about sleep, you're talking about various ways of which they need to shake off their addictiveness. What is your opinion in during this recovery plan? How can we prepare the teachers, because we can't reach all of us as a counselor? According to the CBSE, we have maybe maximum two counselors in a school. It cannot be possible for these two persons to handle such an issue, especially post pandemic. How do you think we can connect it with the teachers so that we have the head of the institution and the senior educator? We could take this and see how the teachers could play a very important role as a
Hello,
teacher counselor.
sir. Can I?
Yeah.
Now I feel that teachers have to have face or develop different strategies to gain the attention of the students. One is leverage interest. You need to leverage interest, wherein attention is enhanced when interest is heightened. So that should be one of the aspect, and that can happen when the teacher is trying to implement varied instructional strategies depending upon depending upon the type of students that she has. So another aspect that we need to focus on is the personalized learning. That is one important aspect that we as teachers have to develop, because it creates individual learning pathways. So that is one important aspect, and we have to plan in such a way that you need to involve the students while you plan for a particular class, so that the students have that comfort zone, and they are having that confidence to come out of the comfort zone also. So when once you instill confidence, I think we can do some kind of research with the students. That's what I
I,
feel.
I would like to add to this. Uh, I would like to request our teachers to sleep very well. Very important. That is extremely important. And when the sleep is discounted, the higher cognitive functions of the brain, irrespective of the age, doesn't function well. So I sincerely request all the students there, please sleep 8 hours a day, which is really an essential thing, because what all you have studied the whole day, what all activity which is there, it has to be processed very well, and it from the short term memory it has to be stored in the long term memory. This whole process happens very well when you do sleeping, and also by proper sleeping, there is the whole body gets rejuvenated, which is very, very important. The stress which we experience, the anxiety which we experience every day, by proper sleep patterns, it is really good for the whole mechanism to put on a track. So
Thank
that's
you,
very important.
Dr. Upasana. Uh, as a head of the institutions, I think you are working on strategies with teachers, and you also said you also have a discussion with the students as well. That's a very good thing. We must hear the unheard. The students have many unheard voices. They have a lot of things they never speak out.
True, sir.
And if you could hear the unheard, you find a lot of solution to a problem, and you can craft your strategy keeping them also in mind. See, and in this process, I think one of the committee has recommended that we should have a curriculum which should bridge these gaps that has been created by the pandemic. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you think, as an institutional head, and keeping in mind the CBSE syllabus and CBSE chapters that are prescribed, you could have a recovery plan before you take on a full-fledged on the recovery on the CBSE syllabus? How would you design a bridge course, and what would be the kind of a bridge course, And what would you use other than teachers? Do you think the technology can also play a part in it, in your bridge course, as Mr. Panir Ramalingam has very vividly has brought out so many aspects of how technology can bring about the reinforcement? Do you think all this can be done by the teachers alone during that 6 hours or now I think is a reduced time?
Yes.
So we have a reduced time, reduced syllabus, reduced span of time to prepare them for the examination. We are walking on what I would say a tightrope
Yes.
walking. And in that context, how technology, how your teachers can design a curriculum.
Sir, very rightly put across. I completely agree with what you just shared with us. The main point here is, sir, as you said, the syllabus has been brought in. They are reducing the syllabus. But if you keep the class 12 students in mind, sir, all the competitive examinations have not reduced the syllabus. Their syllabus remains the same.
Yeah,
So we need to, what we are doing, sir, we are not actually reducing the syllabus. We are going on as what is there. Of course, it is not given in the examinations. We don't test the children, but we teach them.
yeah,
And secondly, sir, just as Snehata ma'am was saying, to generate the interest in the students, we try, to design our lesson plans in a manner where we are connecting every concept with the daily life, so they connect to it. The children, they connect to it sooner, faster, and the impression on their mind is longer, sir. So the retention capacity is more when they connect it with the daily life examples with the children. And this we are doing across the board from classes 1 to 12. Another thing which we have done so far, we have taken the help of our special educator and our counselor. We have given several training sessions for our teachers, to identify any issue with the child, is abnormally behaving. They may not be able to help the child directly, but they can, because they are interacting with the students every day. So if any child is not the usual self, we have trained the teachers to identify that child, and then we are able to, address the child with the help of the counselor and, address the issue. And coming to the mentor mentee, as you were sharing, of course, definitely we do that as well. We visit the children's home, and they are and sometimes it is surprise visit also. We
yeah.
I I don't tell them that I'm visiting
Otherwise,
this place.
you'll have biryani there. Yes.
Yes, sir. So that helps a lot in the confidence. It's a big confidence boosting exercise amongst the parents, students, and teachers. And I generally take the subject teacher or the class teacher along, and especially the subject where the child is struggling, if at all. So we try to build that, to bring up that, the gap, whatever is in the, maybe the communication or understanding. So these are certain exercises which we do.
I think
And
predominantly that CBSE has brought in the idea of compulsory development program, that is CPD. I think
yes, sir.
in that context, I think we, as I said, the teachers bring about 45% of the learning outcome. So I think
Absolutely.
we have to prepare the mindset of the teachers, not only in terms of their physical exertion, hard work that they do always. And I think we need to orient them on various aspects of psychology and various aspect of strategies which they can also design, and we could also hear their voices as well.
True,
You see
sir.
what I mean, their voices as well. This would be a very healing touch on them who do not get much opportunity to, or do not have a flexible operation system. So so that is there. And here now I just, because we are at 7:57, and we would now request Dr. Mr. Paneer Ramalingam. You have heard all of us, and I think you were the last speaker. And quite obviously, you have you would have rethought on certain aspects on how to use technology, because our head of the institution, our senior educator, our psychologist have brought out certain points which you might have noted down, and you are good in noting down points. So let us see how you can bring in to address this issue. Of course, your scheme of after school reinforcement, teacher led interaction, and immediate assessment after class, this would be like, almost preparing them and nurturing them. I think in the recovery plan, a teacher will have to nurture like a nurse. After ailment, just like a nurse addresses the problem, a teacher will have to nurse. And in this context, what is your say?
Thank you, Dr. Thangadurai. I think, as Dr. Lokesh has said, the new way of teaching delivered in the form of through technology definitely will get more traction. If you look at the what children are spending more their time, they're watching videos, they're doing chats with others, and these are the mechanisms by which they communicate. They're very adept at this, right? Now, I'm going to ask the teachers to consider this as a request. Instead of, the traditional model, can you supplement the traditional model of teaching? Are you able to create a TikTok like micro capsule of videos of specific subjects? 1 minute videos, right? At the end of 1 minute video, maybe you could ask a couple of questions, right? So if you are able to create these sort of videos and ask students to slide chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, now they are able to go back and forth. And now the lessons are delivered in a micro capsules, and their mind is so thirsty for information in the form of video. We are now delivering content or educational content in the form of videos. They absorb that. Doubt clarification in the other powerful area. If you all know, and WhatsApp has become like bread and butter in our life. If are you able to create that mentoring sessions by creating a focus group of WhatsApp group and say, you guys get together on a WhatsApp group, discuss among yourselves what questions you have. And if you want any specific doubts to be clarified between the time of 6 p.m. and 7 p.m., I'll be available. You can clarify, you can ask me questions on WhatsApp, right? So I'm requesting teachers to take advantage of the video technologies, the chat mechanisms as a tool to better engage with students and deliver content in the way that they are already consuming, right? Trying to, they no longer, if they're no longer paying attention to the lecture type mode, look at other modalities to deliver this and keep that engagement going. And I see, the students who have hesitation to raise the doubts in front of their peers. Now they can ask that in the privacy of their home on a WhatsApp one-on-one session, can much more, openly express their doubts, however, quote unquote, silly it might sound to them, but they have that sense of privacy that they can ask their questions. So take advantage of technology, try to create content, and implement what you all have. I mean, what you all have, no technology can ever bring. But with what you have in terms of lesson, use the technology to better educate the students is what I see that you can do it going forward.
Thank you, Mr. Panir. I think technology can also hear the unheard and also reflect the unlearned and bring in reinforcement of learning. That was the time now is 8:02. We will have 5 minutes allotted to each to give a concluding remark on the entire deliberation. Of course, it was a tight schedule, but still, I think it was a very wonderful presentations and thought sharing. And all of you have been wonderfully as a leader of thought leaders as such, because this was a forum for sharing your thoughts. And may I request first Dr. Upasna Yadav to give a concluding remark uh, that uh, will consolidate all that we have discussed and what she has taken from others, as well as what she could give to these participants who are very, I mean, this time I had about 500 plus participants, but unfortunately, all of them did not join. This I knew because over the years, this is my 31st webinar, and I had in some webinars going up to 1,000 plus, but ultimately it will be 300 who join. So, so let us not worry about the participants, but even if 10 or 15 are there, we share our thoughts. So I invite Dr. Upasana, please.
So thank you, sir. My takeaway from this session and to after hearing the other learned speakers on the platform, sir. First of all, like Padmakshi madam has said that, of course, we need to take care of the students' well-being, mental and physical. We need to, and this has to be, taken care of at both the ends, from the school end as well as from the parents' end. So we need to take everybody in the loop. So that is one thing. Secondly, sir, again, preparation, as Snehalata madam very well had she's brought out regarding all the subjects also. It has to be more focused approach
Yeah.
regarding the studies. So we need to, every subject teacher or a class teacher has to bring that the focused approach into the learning. And I'll again reiterate that we should not forget the gifted learners and the slow learners of our class, and design a curriculum according to that, taking the help of the technology, as Ramlingam sir was saying that we all have WhatsApp groups for subjects, for every subject, for every class. And this gives an opportunity to the students to bring up their doubts. So we should continue with doing that. And another aspect which I would like to add here is the flip learn, which the technology would help us to. So flip learn technology should be brought into the curriculum, which we are not using so often, or we were not using earlier. But I think it should be made a part of our regular teaching process once we go ahead, or we come out of this COVID pandemic and unprecedented times. So these are the few takeaways for me, sir, from this
Do
session.
you think, Mr. Ramalingam, this flip learning basically is the students design the content, the students create a project on a collaboration. Since they have a WhatsApp group, they all get together. If a project is given, they will all get together and design a digital project and then show it in the class, where the teacher has not much. She may have given some guidelines on that, but flipped learning. Do you think your technological company could also design such students' involvement? You talked about teachers' intervention. You talked about reinforcement. Can students' involvement can also come because many of the teachers are not so good in designing content. A student can do. So anyway, that you can think of it when your turn comes. So my next request would be to Mrs. Nailata. You have.
Yes, sir. I think according to Dr. Upasana, she was able to show the process of what is responsibility in a stepwise, like starting with the plan, execution, and then trying to evaluate where exactly have we gone wrong and what is the change that we need to do. So that stepwise flow of those ideas, I think it was clearly told. When once we try to test the children, and later we need to find out where exactly the child is finding it difficult, analyze it. And maybe the question way in which we have framed may be very difficult for the student to understand, or maybe the child is not able to understand the concept. So there are two ways in which we can dissect that particular aspect and find out whether it is the mistake from the teacher's side or from the understanding side of the student. So that is one aspect. I think Dr. Padmakshi was able to highlight upon what is the need of the hour, especially from the psychological point of view, when all of us, whether the teachers, the parents, and the students, were undergoing this phase of anxiety. So I think she has come out with the solution for all that. And Dr. Panir, I think he has highlighted the role of technology, how it can be implemented. and it can be used as a supplement, but not as a substitute. So that is what he tried to emphasize. So these are the takeaways that I have just understood. I think finally, I think we need to remember 3 Ds. That is, we need to be dedicated, then we need to be, and it should be a deliberate one, and it should be a directional one. So if you just follow these 3 Ds, I think we will be able to reach whatever we have planned of. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Mrs. Vijay Kumar. Dr. Padmakshi, I think we had a lot of deliberation on comfort and fear and learning and growth. All these have to be taken care in the school, and the teachers are the role player. They are the most important player in the school who are connected with the students. A counselor can play a role in counseling the students, counseling the teachers, but the important player on the stage is the teacher. And during this recovery plan, what is the modified role of a teacher that you see as a psychologist?
Modified role is the teacher becomes the counselor here, where they're actually going to say, yes, no problem, you can do something. So from all the four of our speakers, what I understood, the 4 T's which are really important is the teacher, the technology, the theories and the therapies, which are very, very important for in the post-recovery time. And as students, they just don't know. They're very young children. They don't know what it is. So if you just try to tell them this is what it is and try to go in this direction, they will definitely adapt that. And adaptability is something which all our children have in huge numbers. So it's just that we need to guide them. So guidance is what the teacher has to be giving in a very large scale. All teachers are really wonderful. I'm sure they'll be doing a great job. And I need to congratulate you, sir. It was a wonderful platform. It was actually a huge learning for me too. Thank you. Thank you.
We all enjoyed it. And your session was also very quite mesmerizing. And I can see many of our listeners nodding their head in agreement with many of the points, because that is the healing touch that is required now. And uh, thank you, Dr. Padmakshi.
Thank you, sir.
Inputs and yes, Mr. Paneer. Uh, one thing that is a challenge in terms of technology is to bring them back to the relate to the world. I mean, I think somebody talked about the world of realities, and in addition to academics and reinforcement of learning, how could technologically, I think you have talked about artificial intelligence could also bring in some kind of a reality. uh, in other ways, how are you going to bring about restoring the child's innate desire to learn and make learning a joy, which you have said most of them. Still, we would like to have a concluding remark based on other speakers' um, inputs.
Right. Let me start off with you had Dr. Upasana had asked a question about flipped learning, and you asked whether we could support something like that. The technology platform has no limitations as to, only the teacher can create content. We are able to allow the students to create content, make that content available for sharing of other students. And, maybe one student can create a content for only a group of their own friends. So such a functionality can be supported. To summarizing, I've learned a lot in this session. I've learned a lot of prescriptive approaches as to what, from a psychological point of view, from a teaching point of view, what students can learn and do here. My biggest lesson is that students learn at a different pace. And if you are not careful, it's almost like teaching them swimming, right? You take them to a swimming pool. The two ways of teaching them: push the child into the deep end of the pool and then let them figure out how to swim. That would be dump them in the middle of the technology, in the middle of an ocean. You learn to swim, otherwise you can't survive. Alternative, where the teacher led, like the panel speakers here, they handhold the child to the shallow end of the pool, let him learn at his own pace of swimming, is what I think needs to be done. That's what I heard individual teachers speak about, and our platform enables such a learning methodology, and to take advantage of that. Not just our platform, any platform, use technology as much as you can. I talked about microcapsule. I find it very effective. I know a lot of people have learned quick tips about how to do certain things, cooking recipes to how to change your phone settings, everything on TikTok. So it's a powerful medium of learning. Artificial intelligence, Dr. Tanudra, the teachers, I believe, should be focusing on teaching, not focusing on repetitive tasks, correcting papers, trying to avoid all the mechanical stuff. Do the mechanic, put all the mechanical repeating things to a technology platform, sit back and innovate how to educate kids, how to teach them. How does artificial intelligence help in this? It's a platform. It allows us to collect data about individual student. It crunches the data, gives a specific student's performance to a teacher saying, hey, this particular student, Raju from 10th grade B section, is poor in chemistry, in organic chemistry, right? Now you're able to create a very specialized questions for Raju on organic chemistry. That's what artificial intelligence can do for you. Allow teachers to figure out who is strong in what area, who is soft or weak in what specific areas. Help the teacher to craft the appropriate type of learning material for individual students. The more we get to personalized and differentiated learning, the better will be overall performance. More importantly, I'm grateful for all my teachers that the sense of the contentment a teacher gets, the warmth they feel when a child achieves something is not, you cannot get from anything else, right? I mean, I think when you deliver a differentiated, personalized learning, and when you see your students rise up in society and you feel a degree of achievement, and the society doesn't reward the teachers as much as they should, but my heartfelt salute to each and every one of you for raising such quality students and so on and so forth in life. So thank you to all of you.
Thank you. And as we come to the close of the session, at the outset, I should thank all the panelists for their time and the kind of resources that they have shared with us. TD Educational and Charitable Trust, which is a basic objective, is to support the teachers and, as Dr. Upasana has right, mentor the teachers. And this platform, we brought all of you together, and we have had about 200 plus. Quite a good number of principals were also there, and teachers. I'm sure they would take away certain inputs, and if they could implement and use it in the school or refresh their mind and review and how to strategize, would be as Mr. Paneer said, the contentment. It would be a fulfillment for us to see how our thoughts, our deliberations have reached the students through teachers and principals who were a very active audience. But before we conclude, we would like to hear one or two voices of the participants. And if anyone is there, I would appreciate uh, if you could, yes, if anyone is there, could raise the hand. The technology also enables you to raise your hand, or even you unmute and chip in. That's okay, fine for us. Okay. Come on, this is a I mean, you need not, you can turn on your camera or you need not, but at least,
Excuse me, sir.
yeah.
May
Yes.
I?
Yeah, please introduce
Yeah,
yourself.
thank you, sir. This is Sheetal Devde from Bhavan JVM Hinganghat.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible, sir?
You're audible. You're audible.
Yeah, this was the This was really the sublime session, sir. We learned a lot. And especially your words infuse us with positivity. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Any others would like to share that? I think many
Sir,
of
good
you.
evening, sir. Good
Yeah.
evening, sir.
Good evening.
This is me, Muthukumara Swami
Yeah.
from Velamal Vidyalaya, Chennai, sir.
Mhm.
So really, the panelists gave very good information to us, as well as the psychology doctor, psychologically how we should approach the child. Well, it was fantastic session, sir. For 1.5 hours, 2 hours gone, but we never noticed that 2.5 hours we are sitting in front of electronic gadgets. Yeah, it was very, very useful, sir. I thank personally to all the panelists and as well as you, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
May I, sir? May I, sir?
Sure.
Sir, I am Bhuvaneshwari Lakshmanan, Vice Principal of Vidya Mandir Higher Secondary School, Salem. The sublime session, as the previous participant told, Madam Psychologist, ma'am, she boldly said that it is the right time to wake up. The slumber is enough, and we should have a bold hand over the children as a parent and as well as teacher, and give a positive outlook, sir. So it was really commendable, and really it gave a good positive thought for us. Thank you, sir. It's a wonderful session, sir. Thank
So
you.
nice of you. So nice. Yes.
Welcome, sir.
Yes.
I'm Bharati from PSBB Millennium School, Coimbatore, sir.
Okay.
So, yeah, the session was really an amazing session because I used to attend so many webinars. It is entirely different. And I admire a lot about the panelists. That is the information they provided. Really, it is a very good thing. So, thank you so much for arranging such a wonderful session.
Thank you. Yes. Please,
I thank all the panelists for this.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. This is Meera from Bulandshahr, Vidyagyan School, Bulandshahr. I'm a BST teacher. And after this session, we are really looking forward to, conquering term 2 with our students. Thank you so much, everyone.
Very good.
Thank you so much. It was a fantastic session.
Thank you.
Sir, can I speak?
Yes. It's open. It's open.
Good evening to one and all gathered here. I'm Clara Fernandez from the King's School, Goa. So I would really take this opportunity to thank each one of you, all the speakers. Everything was so very well managed, and in the little span of time that each one got, how well they put things forward, that is really going to help each one of us teachers. And really, as each one of the participants said, it's really a totally unique thing that we have experienced today, other than the other things. And really these points, especially how the psychologist spoke, it's time, whatever be it, tell the children, face the reality. It's time. We are facing the reality, but it's time to help them, be that wind beneath their wings. Thank you, and God bless each one of you.
Thank you.
So may I, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm Uma Peshwa from Mysore National Public School. It was a great platform to hear all from the expertise here. And my takeaways mainly the mentoring part, and especially Pani sir, I really loved your TikTok 1-minute video. I'm really going to try this in for physics, especially, physics is a hard nut to crack. So mainly wherever we find that is a tough subject for the students, I will try this 1-minute video and come back to you with a feedback. Thank you very much, Tangadurai sir, for this wonderful session. Thanks a lot for everyone.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Yes.
Sir, I'm Minnal Kodi from Salem, principal of Jiva Public School. Actually, thanks a lot for you to gave this opportunity to us. And even when the session was going on, when Dr. Batmakshi started addressing, I sent the link to my kids, and some of my students joined in between. And really, we have learned a lot, sir. And as psychologists told, we have to come out of our anxiety, because after seeing the performance of the kids in the term one, actually we are in anxiety. So now this session made us to how to come out and how to work in the remaining time with the children for the betterment. Really, wholehearted thanks to the organizing and all the resource person today for sharing valuable thoughts, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have also participants from Middle East, Oman, 3 of them were there, and UAE, and also Sharjah. Is anyone would like to speak across the boundary through our technology? Okay. This program is going live, as you can see, on the YouTube as well. And it will be there for many of these participants to revisit and listen to us again. And I will also facilitate all of you so that they could have a revisit and make use of our deliberations this evening. Before we conclude, I think Vijaya has been working very hard behind the scene, and I would request her to propose the vote of thanks. She is also the trustee of TD Educational and Charitable Trust. Is she there, Vijaya?
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah. Can you come on the screen?
I am there.
Okay, you are there on the screen. Okay. We can't see you. Yeah, now we can see.
Good evening to all the eminent educators and the audience. On behalf of TD Educational and Charitable Trust, I, Vijaya Tangadurai, one of the trustees, thank each one of you for making this webinar a success in terms of learning. First and foremost, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Mrs. Lata Mishra, our trustee, for providing us with this platform through which we could collaboratively learn by sharing the good practices. I would also like to thank Dr. G. Tangadurai, Managing Trustee, TD Act, for wonderfully moderating this webinar and sharing the insights on today's topic. Furthermore, I would like to express my gratitude towards our esteemed panelists, Dr. Upasana Yadav, Mrs. Snehalata Vijayakumar, Dr. Batmakshi Lokesh, and Mr. Pani Ramalingam for taking time out of the busy schedules and helping our audience get a better clarity on the topic. Of course, this event would have not been complete without the help of the proficient backend team and the tech support of the TD Act. Thank you, team. Last but not the least, a big thanks to our wonderful audience who has been constantly supporting us. I sincerely hope you all log out with more knowledge and better clarity to help the students. Once again, thanks a lot, everyone, for joining us, and wish you all a great Sunday.